Hey, my sisters. So here is your senior soul sister who finally has her sister locks. This video is a little delayed because I live in Tallahassee and we had to evacuate because of Hurricane Helene. Thank God, no property damage. Power didn't even go out. So it was a real blessing. But this is a little delayed because I was able to get my sister locks done the week before. When I came back to Tallahassee. So just to get you caught up in case you didn't see the parts before, I had chosen a person off the sisterlocks.com in Jacksonville where I work because their prices tended to be about $500 to $1,000 less than what Locticians were charging in Tallahassee where I live. And since I was working there, I needed to be there for some doctor appointments and I was going to be over there for about a 2-week period. I said, okay, well, let me just go on and get my sister locks there. Fast forward to going through the ambassador who said, I'm not taking any more clients right now, but I do have someone else I can refer you to. And that was one of her trainees. So I went to that person, and unfortunately, I did not ask all the right questions. The question should have been, how many installs have you done? Start to finish. How long did those installs take? Have you worked with anybody who has this particular length of hair and texture and density of hair? She had done 2 or 3 installs already, but those people only had maybe 6 to 8 inches and they were 4C hair. My hair is 4, maybe AB. It might even be some 3C in here, which is the straightest part around my perimeter. Most of us have those variations in our hair. I had cut 2 inches off my hair. So rather than it being 14, 15 inches, it was 10 to 12 inches to hopefully make it go faster. But after 2 10-hour days on a Saturday and Sunday, and then going back throughout the week, by that Wednesday or Thursday, up to 40 hours, because she worked during the week. And so we were only able to do it in the evening. And the mentor coming as well on, I believe it was Thursday, and spending her 1.5 to 2 hours. The mentor, who's an ambassador, of course, did it quicker. But what I didn't like was she did not check the sections that her trainee had done. She didn't say anything about how much of my hair was left out. Now, she also did not correct her on having gone back 15 rows when it should have only been 10. She did say something to her about, oh, so you took the extra 5 rows down. Now, maybe she was just trying not to embarrass her in front of me, but the bottom line is I'm the client, right? So you make those corrections. Now, what she did do was showed her a different way to do the knot at the end, so that she didn't have to try, and because what she was doing was back combing, which is a technique, but it wasn't what she needed to do with this length of hair. And that's why her knots were somewhere all the way up here with about 4 inches of my hair still being left out. The only reason it's not a frizzy mess is because I went on and twisted them as I was doing my Bantu knots and drenching them with some water so they could get some curl. But you can still see a lot of that. That's just extra hair that shouldn't be there. She also corrected her with the part because the trainee had done her parting in the back, but she did 3 sections where the mentor was telling her you should have a wider section in your middle, and then your ends, these 2 side sections, should be on an angle so that there's a smaller section at top and then it gets larger. So she was correcting her on some things, but just not enough. And of course, by Thursday and 40 hours into this, I still had 2 sections of my hair that needed to be done. This needed to still be corrected. So I just said, that's it. I'm done. I was just exhausted. I contacted a couple of people in Tallahassee, and unfortunately, those that I had the consult with said, we don't want to go behind somebody else. We don't even know whether or not you are actually getting sister locks at this point. From what I could show them, they weren't sure that they had followed the grid and just weren't comfortable with that. Fortunately, it's good to just know folks, right? So I reached out to my friends. Shout out to Erica. Shout out to Shalonda, who does Microlocks but doesn't do sister locks, but then put me in touch with one of her friends who is a sister loctician. Whew. Natalia, thank you, thank you, thank you. So that is my loctician now in Tallahassee. She charged me for these two sections, $400 and $400, and to start doing the repairs that she needed to do on what had already been done. So in the end, the young lady in Jacksonville had quoted me $1,200. I think her mentor would have charged about $1,500 or $1,600, which was about the going rate for my hair, because basically they charge you a flat rate. Flat rate in Jacksonville was about $1,000, and then they're going to charge you $100 more per inch over that 8 to 10 inch range. So mine was coming out to somewhere right around $1,500, $1,600. In the end, I had already paid $625 plus the $800. And so I asked Natalia, how much would it have been? And she said the way that she even came out with the amount for this was just to say, when she looks at my hair and the length, she would have charged me just a flat rate of $2,000. So then you divide that between the 5 different sections, and that's how she came out with it, plus the repair work that she knew she needed to do. So I just wish that I had gone that route in the first place. So my tip to you is, yes, you can go on the sisterlocks.com. You can see who's there, but you have to ask the questions about their level of experience. Do not go with somebody who is just doing this as a side hustle where they have a full-time job. You want somebody where this is their bread and butter. This is what they do every day, because they are going to have the experience that you need. Try and find somebody who either works out of a shop or works out of home, but has the references. You don't want to see just the end product, right? You want to see that they know how to part, that they know how to do the grid pattern correctly. That's what you want to see in the pictures. Not somebody else's pictures that they've posted, but their actual work, their reviews, their references. Get that. It's so important, and it will save you so much. So I am glad to say I finally have my sister locks. I am looking forward to it. I haven't counted them out. On one of the other videos I showed you, I did this in sections of 10. And then you can do each section. So one of these sections was like right at 150 to 155. The next one should be right at, in fact, I think I did count this one out too, and it was right at 155 to 160. And so I'm not sure exactly how many I have in the back, but it should be right in that 500, 550 range, which is what I wanted. And of course, you want to keep it as low as possible, because when you start getting up to 600, 700, 800, you have to think about your reties, how long it's going to take. My loctician is charging $65 per hour. And she said her reties average about 2 to 2.5 hours. We are probably going to have at least 1 or 2 sessions that are just repair sessions for her to go back and redo what was done wrong by the other person. So just keep that in mind in terms of your count, in terms of the density of your hair. I cut off 2 inches of my hair. It may very well be that if you've got hair that is at least 10 inches or longer, that you might consider that. A lot of us just have those dead ends. They aren't serving any purpose for you except just costing you more if you go Microlocks or Sisterlock. So just cut off those couple of inches. You don't need the hair. It's not serving any purpose. It's not going to make your locks do any better or any worse. But why go in there with all those dead ends? That's just costing you more money. So that's definitely a tip I would take. The other tips that I had said was make sure that you wear comfortable clothing and that you have the pillows that you need. A lot of them only have the standard chair. just a standard salon chair. They don't recline at all. I have a bad back. You definitely want the neck support pillow. Of course, I've got a long neck, but even if you got a short neck, you want that extra support to hold your neck because you are just sitting in that one position for so long. We spent, I want to say, about 6 hours for her, 6 to 8 hours for her to finish those two sides and start on some of the repairs. She's quick. That's what you want. Somebody who knows what they're doing, who has the experience, is going to quote you a fair price, get the consultations, do your research, look at the videos, read in terms of deciding whether or not you're going Microlocks, Sisterlocks. As I stated on one of the other videos, I thought that basically the difference with Sisterlocks was the size. And I was cautious about getting Sisterlocks because I thought they would be too small. But that's not the case. Your Sisterlocks can range anywhere from that 1/8 all the way up, 1/4 inch, 5/16 inch, all the way up to about 1/2. So what I thought in terms of Sisterlocks are only the real small ones, Microlocks you could have any size, is not so much that as it is the grid pattern. Sisterlocks only uses a specific Sisterlock tool and a specific grid pattern. Whereas with Microlocks, you have the variation of the size as well as grid pattern, or not really using any grid at all. But you have a lot more flexibility. So those are some of the things that you want to look into. In terms of price, I don't really see that much of a difference now that Microlocks have become so popular. It used to be that Sisterlocks was just this outrageous cost, but now Microlocks are basically going to cost you about the same thing because it's about the same amount of time. The difference is the tools that they're going to use for Microlocks. But your retightening is basically going to be pretty much the same. So I am excited about the journey. I hate that it took so much time and so much aggravation. It really tested my patience, but a lot of that was on me because probably after the first 20 hours, I should have just said, hey, wait a minute, time out. Do I need to go a different direction? And I didn't do that. So don't do like me and go through 40 hours just to have to make that decision. Make it a lot quicker. After that first 10 hours or so that you see this isn't going right, just call it a day, call it quits. Go on and find yourself somebody else to do it. All right. Thank you, y'all. I'll come back with some updates. Take care. Bye.